Good morning. My name is Linda O'Connor, and I'm very glad that you've joined me this morning for my live lecture on one of the most common problems that we have within English academic writing, and that is APA formatting. I have had lots of different students tell me all kinds of problems that they've had and issues, and a lot of people are very, very confused about what makes for good APA formatting, how to make it work. When do I cite? How do I cite? What's the basic format overall? So, to that end, I was going to share some information with you this morning that would hopefully help you to get started on the right foot and also give you just a basic background of APA. So, let's go ahead and take a quick look at that, shall we? I know some of you out there right now are saying, no, but it's really not that difficult once you get things going. All right, so with that in mind, we have first of all the guide to APA formatting altogether, and lo and behold, there you have it in front of you. And what you have here is the overview of the manual itself. Now, I know that many of you may never have seen this book before. Most of you might be familiar with MLA because that's what's used in high schools normally. But APA is by and large used a lot of times in universities in academic writing. And the reason for that is because many universities do specialize in a lot of the disciplines that would fall under the APA subheadings. So, for example, science, technology, any type of medical majors, law, all of those do tend to fall under this particular subheading. So that's the reason why we use this. And by using this formatting, everyone's documents conform to the same rules. So your paper is the same as lots of published scholars within the field. So rather than judging your paper on whether or not it's fitting a proper formatting or whether you're kind of going off and doing your own thing, we don't have to worry about that when using APA. We can simply go ahead and use this, and then you've met the proper protocols to make it happen. So that takes care of things, and then there's no fuss, no muss, no having to worry about things. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit on how to get into the basics of APA style. The bulk of my slides actually talk about how to navigate databases and find sources, but I wanted to start with the easy stuff first, and then we can go back and look at the more difficult stuff once we've accomplished that. Additionally, if you are interested in reviewing the APA manual yourselves, it is oftentimes available in local university libraries. So if there is a Remington branch near you, you are probably more than welcome to go there and take a look at the book. The librarians will be more than happy to direct you to that resource. Furthermore, if you don't have access to one or there isn't one local to where you are, not to worry. You can simply go to the public library, and again, very often they will have that book there for you to review, and it is available. It is very expensive to purchase it, so I do kind of discourage you. But you can purchase it online. Sometimes it does float around from time to time, but you can also locate it at the local library, so I just wanted to mention that. If you do opt to go to the library, please do make sure you either take photocopies or have note-taking equipment available so you can jot down whatever it is you need. So what does APA do as far as the basics go? You're probably going to be surprised by how easy this is and how much of this you already know. But here we go. Basics. First off, double space your entire paper, including your headings. Many of you are doing that already, so that's perfectly fine. You should place 2 spaces after end punctuation in sentences. So end your sentence, period, dot, space, space, and then start your new sentence. It is recommended that you use 10-point to 12-point Times New Roman font or something within that range. Most people do use Times New Roman 11. I believe Word actually defaults to that font if you don't go in and mess with it. I encourage you not to go in and mess with it. However, if you live with somebody like my husband who also uses your same computer, he will go in and mess with it. So you might want to just double check that your font is correct before you get started on your work to make sure you don't have any problems. Likewise, you should have 1-inch margins all the way around. And again, Word will default to that, so you don't really have to go in and make any changes to that unless you wish to. You should not do so if you're trying to follow correct APA formatting. But again, if you share a computer with others, you'll want to double check that. Paragraphs should be indented an additional 1/2 inch from that 1-inch margin. Now again, Word will do this for you. So if you go ahead and hit your tab key goes ahead and does the indent, and you're ready to go ahead and start typing. Now, if you're old school like me, I learned how to type on a typewriter. So I actually will sit there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my space bar, and my students on ground always get a real kick out of watching me do that. But I'm old school and old habits are hard to break. Either one of those is acceptable as long as your new paragraphs are indented. You should also number your pages consecutively, beginning with your title page. So your title page is actually page 1. Now, see how easy that is? Some students get scared of writing and they think, gosh, how am I going to start? You're already on page 1, so you're already 1 page to the good. So by having that, you're already on your way as far as writing goes. So that's really awesome. Now, for voice and point of view in academic writing, we like active voice as opposed to passive voice. Now, what's active voice, you ask? Active voice is the sentence order that we're pretty well used to using in normal life. So, for example, in most instances, we have subject, verb, and then whatever else comes next. So, I completed my homework. I am the subject, completed is the verb, the homework is the direct object. That's all fine. Now, if I wanted to make that passive, I would simply reverse the order of the sentence. So instead of having the subject first, the recipient of the action comes first. So it would become, the homework is completed by me. Well, that kind of confuses your reader and doesn't make you sound very active. So we'd like you to sound active. So that's why we stress to use that in APA formatting. Additionally, we like for you to use third-person point of view. So what does that mean? That means try to avoid using you and I. So instead of saying something such as, I think Edgar Allan Poe is one of the greatest poets. It sounds tentative. It sounds like you don't really have a sure feeling about what you're saying. So you want to sound like you know what you're talking about, you're taking ownership of it, it's yours. So make your claim, but don't, I feel, I think, I believe. You don't need any of that. You can simply, Edgar Allan Poe is one of the best poets. Boom. You've made your claim. There's no I in there, but we know that that's coming from you. You also don't want to use you, because that way it sounds like you're telling your reader what to do. You need to read this book. Alrighty then, I'll get right on that. So you don't want to be overbearing like that. You want to stay in third person because that sounds professional, it sounds formal, and most of all, it sounds like you're unbiased and objective and you're able to look at things impartially without letting your feelings get in the way. So that's a win-win. You may be allowed to use first person or second person in some instances, but that may depend on your instructors. When in doubt, I tell everybody, asking doesn't cost anything and it hurts nothing. Okay, so make sure that if you are not sure, you ask. I would much rather you ask than try to guess or try to fumble your way through something and not really know what you're dealing with. So those are ways that you can kind of get things started with APA. See how easy it is so far? So with that, we can get things started and we can get you rolling on writing. I'm looking forward on seeing how you implement these strategies as we go into the rest of this week. Thank you so much for listening today. Have a wonderful afternoon.